And hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is James Phoenix, and welcome to yet another episode of the Lair of the Phoenix and the Summer of Disney. Which, unfortunately, this is recording live, so I can't put up the nice logo that Marcus Shadow made for me. Sorry.
Printed off and held it up with paper.
I could have, but that would require me to have a functioning printer and decent colored ink. Anyway. As you can hear, we got the voices here. Today we are here to review the film Frozen as part of the Summer Disney, Disney's most recent musical masterpiece, sticking with our theme of the music of Disney for this summer. As a note here, you might have noticed this is going up on the last day of August. Strictly speaking, the summer does not end until September 23rd, which is the first day of autumn. Therefore, the Summer of Disney can go till then and still be legit. So, within the month of September, before the 23rd, the two-part I'm bringing it up at a two-part top 20 deleted Disney songs starring myself and Marcus Shadow will go up.
And I will say, you're welcome for me pointing that out.
Yes, thank you, Mole. I appreciate that.
It can be hella hot in September.
Yeah. So, joining me for this review, as you might have heard from the voices, we have Chris the Mole from the Mole Hole and assorted subsidiaries, XGR, and things like that.
And thank you. And I will say, out of all the people here, don't worry, viewers, because it was a Disney review, I cared enough to put on a Disney t-shirt.
A Disney t-shirt they're not legally allowed to make anymore.
You don't know that. You're not the boss of my t-shirt.
Yes, I do know that, because you told me.
Not in a recorded segment, it's non-canon.
Apparently Mole's underwater.
Yeah, for a second he was like, his face was all distorted.
Yeah, well, it's a Google Hangout.
It's a hangout.
It's a hangout. Also, over here, from the Gaming Grotto, Anastasia Lazerbeam is here.
Hey!
It's a Disney princess movie, so we need a female perspective on this, especially because feminists is one.
I'm just glad my video's holding up.
So far.
It's your show. You always have a female perspective.
Ha!
Funny. Also, that's very funny. I have a joke regarding Stacy. I'm going to save it until after the review. Moving on. Finally joining us, the guy here who has not actually seen the movie, but is here to offer, because he's the film guy, we feel obligated to include him just to give a random film-related perspective. Marcus Shadow.
So what you're saying is,
Thank you.
I said, so what you're saying, Jim, is in honor of Frozen, and the fact it has probably the most annoying side character in it since Donkey, we included an annoying side character.
Pretty much. An annoying side character with a lovely tan line on his wrist there. Nicely done, Marcus.
Well, that's where I wear my watch every day.
Fair enough. So.
Every day? It's not on right now.
Exactly.
It was on earlier today.
Okay, so I'm kind of winging this. I didn't actually plan out exactly how this review is going to proceed, but I figure we'll start out talking about the overall plot of the movie itself, then the characters, and we'll talk about the music a little bit, and then we'll give some final scores. Sound good, everybody?
So what you're actually saying is this is going to be a good review for once from the Lair of the Phoenix.
Don't undermine his product.
Yes, it will be a good review, because I'm not stuck with just you. There's actually entertaining guests here for once.
Ha!
Like I actually get to say anything when it's just you and me.
I still don't know why, for the purposes of the video, do I continue to do that. But my pal makes it in.
And your pal makes it in. It's your trademark. It's important. It's as important as my Phoenix gesture.
And my also. See ya.
Yeah, and that too. And Marcus is dancing his little jig before he puts on his green hat and dances away.
Is that out?
Leprechaun, actually.
I'm not Hornswoggle.
And I will also say for the people who listen to XGR, yeah, don't worry, this isn't actually live. We've had to digitally use CGI to shrink Bobblehead's giant head. I just wanted to point that out for the ones who know the running joke of bobblehead.
Ah.
I just
Well, they don't
turned
have to
down
be
the
spearhead normally.
I just turned down the brightness of my computer so the reflection isn't in my glasses now.
Okay then.
Yay.
So, let's go ahead and do this. Of course, this movie came out a little under a year ago, last October, November, and it was a huge hit. It was Disney's biggest hit in a very long time. Some people agree with that, some people don't. I think the music was a big part of it, because while there had been some musicals recently, Tangled being very good, of course, some of the other recent films, this is the first big full-on Disney princess musical that's been basically about the music and nothing else that they've done since maybe Mulan, Emperor's New Groove, maybe.
What about Princess and the Frog?
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot Princess and the Frog. Thank you.
You forgot the Black Princess.
In all fairness, so did the award show.
I liked Princess and the Frog.
I did. It was a great movie.
I have not seen it.
That's a great movie. You should go see it. They were using that to try to bring back the 2D animated Disney movies is a big deal, and it wasn't as successful as they hoped it was going to be. So unfortunately, it was a bit of a letdown for Disney, or so the reports say. But it is a great movie. I like Mama Odie in a swamp. She's cool. But that aside, we're here to talk about Frozen. The film focuses on the fact that Disney decided that for purposes of this movie, they were going to double up on literally everything. We've got two princesses. We've got
One
two
queen, one princess.
At the beginning of the movie, it's two princesses, though, so still sort of counts. Two princesses. We've got two cute dudes for the female Disney fans to fawn over. We've got two annoying side characters in a reindeer and a snowman. Not to mention some little rock troll dudes. They just doubled up on everything in this movie. So, for those of you not familiar with the premise of this movie, if like me and just watched it a couple weeks ago for the first time, the film focuses on Elsa and Anna, the royal daughters.
Anna.
Anna and Elsa. Elsa being older by 2 years. And we see the fact that growing up that Elsa had some ice powers and inadvertently hurt her sister. They got her cured by the rock troll guys, but they locked everybody away in the tower in the castle to hide her powers and force her to control them through fear and junk. So the girls grew up isolated. Their parents went off and died off screen because plot.
I
And
think you also
eventually,
forgot about the social isolation of Anna because Elsa won't be with her anymore.
that
because
too.
she's afraid to hurt her.
You also forgot the massive fucking plot hole that creates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the movie, Marcus, we see her as a little girl using her powers 100% perfectly. She's manipulating, she's making ramps, she's doing everything she wants. She only made one little mistake when she hit her sister with the ice, but it was an accident and it was only one small little thing. Suddenly, years later, she can't even do the basic thing because now suddenly she can't control her powers.
But then as soon as she walks over to the mountains and has to sing an important song, she can immediately control them to make a perfectly formed ice palace. Not to mention an ice dress.
Yeah,
The only reason I could even conceivably think that that could possibly work was that she was so like horribly like PTSD or whatever about hitting her sister that she never used her powers again or never tried to use her powers because she obviously still accidentally used them and she was just trying to suppress them, make them not exist anymore, so she kind of forgot how to use them because she spent the last 12 years trying to not use them ever and suppressing them.
But Stacey, as Jim pointed out, about 2 minutes later she then makes a perfectly formed ice castle and shit out of nowhere.
That is definitely a plot hole. I'm just saying that like this was a half-ass attempt at trying to do that.
Yeah. Technically speaking, the ice castle is the plot hole. The rest of it can be explained via the convoluted Disney plot. Because think about this. Spoilers, by the way. This review will contain spoilers if you haven't seen the movie. A little late for me to mention that, but I'll mention it. If you remember, at the end of the movie, what they find out is Elsa. The key for Elsa to control her powers is love. Because Disney. And basically, throughout her life, after the point at which she inadvertently hit Anna in the head with the ice, the rock troll guy basically told them that, it's fear will help you control your powers. Fear is what will work for her. And that was what she tried to use to control it all those years. The reason she was able to control them as a child is because she was with Anna and she was using that to make Anna happy because she loved her sister. The love at that time was allowing her to control the powers. After she inadvertently hit Anna, she became afraid of hurting her again, even more so after the troll guy outright told her, "You got to hide your powers and not hurt, or you're gonna hurt your sister or somebody else. Be afraid. Be very afraid." That fear took over, and when she went into fear mode for most of her life and tried to use the fear to control it, that's when she actually lost control. It wasn't until they grew up and Anna, again spoilers, tries to sacrifice herself to save her sister, that Elsa realizes that from the act of true love that, oh, love is what controls my powers and regains control. So
Yeah,
logically, that whole line actually makes sense. The only part that's the plot hole is how, despite the fear, she's magically making the ice castle in the middle of the movie.
Wait,
That's
I
the
would
one
say
part.
there's another.
What about the fact when she uses her powers that she can't control to perfectly create a snowman that's alive and sentient?
Also, I'd say
How is
another
that
plot-
not a hole?
No, I
She
said,
creates
like I said, the castle and everything during that sequence that occurs at that point in time is a plot hole. But the part about them being a kid and her being able to control it then and not control it later is not a plot hole. Just the whole where she runs off and then suddenly controlling the mountain, that is a plot hole.
Yeah, that's
But
what I'm
what
saying.
about the
So
rock
they
gnome?
messed up the fact she can't control because she's a kid, she can't control it, and she can control it again. Then it's like, oh no, you're doing it wrong.
Because it
Whenever
made
the
sense.
plot calls for it, she can use it perfectly.
Yeah, it
Why
made
don't you
sense.
guys let Stacy speak?
Yeah. Okay. Just because I was gonna say another plot hole would be that the gnome told her the wrong advice and the whole thing and created this whole problem. Because if he just said, you know what, remember love, be love all the time, don't boo fear, fear will make your powers fuck up, and you know what, don't erase the fact that you have magic from her memory because because unknowing also creates fear. So we're just gonna keep going with this. Yeah, there you go. Accidents happen. Don't let it happen again. There you
Yeah,
go.
the
It
rock
should've
trolls
went
were
like that.
useless. Yeah, the rock trolls were useless on there for the purpose of having cute Disney
Yep.
characters. That was all they were there
And
for.
also creating the problem of the whole entire movie.
Yeah, and I will say two things. One, yeah, I was going to let you say that in a sec after we were done speaking. And number two, I will also point out, did you just try and take over Jim's whole review, Marcus, by telling him to shush during his own review?
Yes, because I told you both to shush because you were both kept cutting Stacy off.
It's Jim's
Repeatedly.
review.
So?
It's Jim's review. How would you like if during one of your reviews someone told you to just shut the hell up and then kept going?
I didn't keep going. I just said, hey, let Stacy speak.
Yeah,
That's all she's trying to
Thanks,
speak.
I appreciate it.
I know. I was just saying it was Jim's review though.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he's missing
Jim
one
is the
point.
most talkative of all of us. He needs to be told to shut the hell up once in a while or he won't. You know it's true.
Anyway, getting back to the review that Marcus Shaw interrupted despite having not seen the movie.
Yep, despite not seeing the movie and despite multiple around the pounds telling Jim it's not cool when someone tries to take over someone else's stuff.
And interrupt people, yeah. Hypocrite.
Just
Um,
pointing that out there for the fans.
so the basic premise is that, as probably figured out, is she can't as a little kid, she inadvertently hurt her sister, and she's kind of locked away and separated from society for purposes of keeping everybody safe and learning to control her powers, although the advice she's giving is like opposite of what you should do to control her powers, and so it doesn't work. When they grow up and Elsa hits 21, Anna hits 18, Elsa is to be made the queen because their parents died off screen because of convenient plot.
They
Although,
drowned to death.
not necessarily. There's actually a fun
They
thing
were
here.
Okay.
Here's
Well,
a fun
don't bring
thing.
in the whole.
Do not say the Tarzan thing.
Don't.
The only reason why is they've actually gone on record of saying that was not true, and they've actually disproved it themselves.
I'm going to say
Yeah, and they're on
the
a
producer
boat.
said in an interview. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but he
Okay,
said he
they're
was.
on a boat and they died. So
He said there's references to various stuff, but don't try and link it to all of this. Where everyone's trying to say, "Oh yeah, you got ties to all of these Disney films." Like, no, it's standalone. Huh?
Why not? It works for the Pixar theory. But anyway,
yeah,
um,
they're on a boat and they
so-
died.
their parents go off on some journey and die. And so we never see who's actually ruling the kingdom in the interim years. My video went out for a second there. Anyway, so they die in the interim years, and Elsa at age 21 is to be the queen, coronated. That's what we're looking for. Coronated as the queen. But she's terrified that her powers are going to go off and screw shit up, and inevitably they do. And so after the ceremony, after after being cooped up in a castle for years and years, of course, Anna runs out and falls in love with the very first guy she meets. And they immediately decide to immediately engage 24 hours because true love.
And in
And-
that song, that I think that and Tangled are the only two times where I think a character lies about their true feelings in a song, where that the audience doesn't know they're lying. You know?
Yeah.
I think that's only been in two Disney films.
Pretty
will
much.
also say during the part where she runs away, it creates the big problem. I know it's one of the songs and it's music, and some people like the song. I still hate that song. She endangers people. She throws ice at people, and it almost kills people. And her only response is, the cold never bothered me anyway. Let it go. And it's like, come on, you actually tried to kill someone.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way.
Yes.
Yeah, I said, but not intentionally. But it's like if I hit someone with a car by mistake, I can't just go into court and go, well, the car never bothered me anyway. Let it go. Because if I do that, I'm pretty sure I'm going down.
Yeah. So Anna falls in love with the first guy she meets, informs Elsa that they are going to get married, and Elsa, of course, is like, what the fuck are you talking about? And this causes her to lose control of her powers. And it goes nuts and almost hurts people, and she runs off in the mountains. So, at this point, Anna decides, well, no, I caused this problem, I have to go find my sister. Guy I just met today, you're in charge of my kingdom until I get back. Which, also, I'm relatively sure that's not how nobility works. Even if you're the ruler of a kingdom, I'm pretty sure you can't name random foreign princes to be in charge of your kingdom. I'm pretty sure there's a hierarchy that's in charge if the royalty is not there or otherwise indisposed.
Yeah, I'm also
can
going
possibly
to have to say they weren't as reclusive as they said they were.
Yeah, because like she was like Mo brought this up in another conversation that like she's not like if you spend all your time alone, like I've probably spent like majority of my childhood like relatively like lonerish. I mean I have friends but whatever. But like if you spend like all your time alone, you're gonna be relatively fucked up. You're gonna hate people. You're not gonna want to spend times in big crowds. You're not gonna like want to be a social. She's singing like the first time in forever. I get to do all this stuff, meet everyone. You're not gonna want it. That's gonna be overwhelming to you. That's gonna be terrifying. You're not gonna like it.
Well, yeah, remember, she wasn't totally alone because they were in a castle and they still had servants and shit that worked for them. They just reduced the number of servants and the number of
But
people
she
that were
sung
in
a
and out of the
whole
castle.
song about how she's alone. So,
Yeah, Yeah, I was saying either A, if you go by how the film tells you they're as reclusive as they say they are in the film, then they should be mentally messed up. However, if you go by the fact we see them with a load of fucking servants that they talk to during it, and they should be well adjusted and should know better than the mistakes they make. Both ways contradict each other. It's like, which one is it, Disney?
Also, I'd like to point out, I'm fairly certain, unless before running out of the castle, Elsa turned to Anna and said, "You're in charge," I'm fairly certain Anna has no real authority. Because Elsa is the one in charge, because she's the elder, she's the one that's going to be queen, so she's the one with the authority.
No, this is after Elsa was coronated, so Elsa is the queen. But by logic, if the queen has run off and therefore abdicated her throne, Anna becomes the queen by default.
And also when she ran off, the townspeople started to hunt her, which means they were going to overthrow her, which means next in line.
Because when Anna ran off, I should say when Elsa ran off, she inadvertently cast the kingdom into an eternal winter of death. So they were a little unhappy with her. So Anna by default would have become the queen and the royal because she was the last of the royal family alive that they were willing to have on the throne.
Yeah, which I will say, I understand Marcus saying what he did based on what he heard from you. However, I would also say, Jim, how did you gloss over an entire winter of death? How'd you gloss over a winter of death?
Because you just let it go.
I mean, I can understand me doing that. I mean, I'm English. We're always in a winter of death. But it's a case of, how did you do that? How did you just go, yeah, she just ran away? It's like, no, she cast a spell that caused winter to death.
Same logic for Jim. He lives in New York. Every winter they have is a winter of death.
Yes, but at least our winter of death doesn't last all year round like Mole's does.
Touche.
Yep.
So anywho, Elsa runs off into the mountains and thinks, let it go, and fucks up the entire plot related to her powers. And
Also,
built an,
the ice never bothered me anyway. We need to include that line because, damn it, that's a stupid ass line.
It is saying fuck off to everybody. I'm doing my own, like, screw you. That's it.
Yeah,
That's all that
yeah.
matters.
It's like, I don't give a shit that I tried to kill you, and we're supposed to be rooting for her slightly, or in somewhat way. It's like,
Some
oh,
way.
you just made her completely unlikable in that. You've basically turned her from, okay, it's a cool queen. Maybe you're trying to make it, I don't know, all female power and stuff. Yay, which worked for
Yeah.
Tangled. That was fucking awesome. Love Tangled. But basically, you turned her into fucking Paris Hilton. That's the type of thing Paris Hilton would say.
This is not empowering if it's through evading your responsibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Putting
Paris
people in
Hilton.
danger.
Now, Paris Hilton will be the opposite, because Paris Hilton will be like, that's hot. It never bothered me anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she runs up into the mountains, does this shit, builds an ice palace, builds a living snowman, somehow, because life, and
An annoying
locks herself,
one.
and locks herself away. So Anna says, well, I kind of caused this, so I have to go save her. So she takes a horse, says, Prince Hans that I just met yesterday and fell in love with and I'm engaged to, you're in charge of the kingdom until I get back, and she rides off. And she rides off, and she ends up finding a shop in the mountains where she meets a dude named Kristoff and his reindeer Sven.
Sven.
And I'll give credit to Sven. He's the lesser of the two annoying side characters in the movie.
I would say the reindeer wasn't annoying at all. The other one was completely annoying. The snowman was so it just grained on me. Also, the snowman also goes into the whole thing, just to bring it up, of how the fuck do her powers work? She's supposed to be able to control ice. How does she use that to manipulate death? To manipulate life? And how, at the end of the movie, when she puts the little cloud above his head, how does she manage to make snow clouds when snow isn't actually just formed by ice? It's also formed by heat, which isn't her power. And it's also formed by rainwater going up into the clouds and then making snow. No, none of her powers make sense.
Because we can't allow him to die, and that's because Disney.
Yeah, but why was he alive in the first place?
Because one side character wasn't enough.
Yeah, because, and I quote, it's magic, we don't have to explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was actually coined by Disney.
Yeah, exactly.
Which isn't a good thing. That's a fucking horrible thing.
It's a
if you have someone with all ice powers, make it ice powers. You wouldn't see Iceman in X-Men suddenly creating life.
Yeah, not really.
It's not like he makes his own ice people that have their own characters.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I runs into this guy, and just to bribe him by buying the shit that he needs, because I guess she brought money with her from the palace. I don't know. But she buys the shit that Kristoff needs, because Kristoff is an expert ice seller, carver, seller, iceman, whatever you call him. And she buys him the shit he needs to go up the mountains and says, I'm buying this shit. I know I actually wrecked your wagon. I'll get you a new one, but you got to get me to find my sister up in the mountains. He reluctantly agrees, and of course they start falling for each other as they start climbing an ice castle. And Mole, I know you liked it. Would you like to talk about that next character that's introduced?
Which one?
The one that Elsa creates when they get to the castle.
I've already just mentioned the stuff to do with Olaf or what the fuck he's called.
No, not him. Not him, the other one.
I don't know which other one you're referring to. Oh, the big golem thing?
He makes an abominable snowman, and he's funny.
Which was okay.
I thought you mentioned liking him, but yeah, she makes a bit man, and to chase them out of the ice palace because she refuses to talk to Anna. And it turns into a fight, and she chases them off the abominable snowman, and the snowman throws them off a cliff. But they survive because soft powder snow, because Disney. And after having met alive Olaf, who guided them to the palace in the first place, after singing his song about how he can't wait for it to warm up and not be as winter so he can find out what snow does in summer. Which is an incredibly stupid for the record.
Yeah, not only is he annoying, but I will also point out, Marcus, he seems to be intelligent to a certain degree and knowledgeable about the world because he helped give him advice on some stuff. How the fuck does he not know how sun works?
I don't know. But yeah, so there's one scene that I thought kind of where Anna starts trying to climb up this vertical ice wall as Kristoff is laughing at her attempt to do this without the proper equipment on, and they're going back and forth about, oh, we're gonna do this. He's like, you're gonna need my equipment to help you with this. And they go back and forth, and the snowman just goes, comes around the corner and goes, hey guys, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just found this stairwell that goes directly to where you want to go. I'm like, well, that was ironic. So, after getting thrown off a cliff, I don't know what to do. I should mention that during this fight, before they were thrown off the cliff, Elsa inadvertently again shot Ice at Anna, and this time hit her in the heart, which, as mentioned by Convenient Rock Troll Guy at the beginning, the head is easy to cure, the heart is much more difficult. So Kristoff was like, well, shit, now what do I do? Because he's kind of fallen for her. So he says, well, there's only one group of people I know that can help her, because I've seen them do it before. So as she is slowly kind of turning to ice and her hair is going white and shit, he puts her on the reindeer and they ride off to visit the rock trolls, who are apparently his family and raised him and the reindeer because he's an orphan. Because Disney.
Yeah, I was like, why wouldn't the ice people that he saw in the beginning as a child want to raise him?
And also, technically, if she shoots something, it turns to ice, and they say it turns her heart to ice, shouldn't she just instantly die because her heart's no longer beating?
Well, that's instantaneous. It's slowly turning to ice, I think was the plot. But either way, yes, she should have.
It's turned enough to go through her entire blood to reach her hair. She should be dead. It slowed her heart. It would have slowed her heart rate down to the point she'd be dead. Science.
Yeah. Well, see, the way I think the bullshit magic works is literally it hit her heart and says, okay, you hit the heart, but we're going to freeze the entire body before actually freezing the heart, even though you targeted the heart in the first place, so that's what it does, and that's why the rest of her, freezes, and then at the end she'll freeze, for reals, and... Yeah, it's whatever. It's weird.
I think her powers are different to how everyone thinks. Like someone like Iceman manipulates and creates ice and stuff like that and has control over ice. She has ice plot convenient powers.
There you go. That's very true.
Anyways, Kristoff takes Anna to go see the troll guys, and they sing an incredibly pointless and stupid song about how, Kristoff brought a girl home, they must be in love, and they're trying to sing a song that's talking Anna into loving Kristoff, saying, he's a bit of a fixer-upper, blah, 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 blah. And, yeah, that was a really unnecessary song.
It was very awkward, because everyone in that whole thing looked like they didn't even want the song to exist.
Pretty much. That was the obligatory, we need another song, put this one in so the cute characters have a song to sing. And that's the last song in the movie, mind you. It's not like they're going to recur back to Go or Build a Snow. I mean, they play the instrumental of Build a Snowman at the end. But really, that was the last full-on song of the movie. Talk about an awkward place to end the music.
I'd say, thank God, as I will admit, I did not like any of the songs.
Fair enough. So, moving along.
At least in my opinion, with the music, when we were discussing the music, while, say, Lion King, Aladdin, and the musicals like that all had this musical Disney vibe, this one had more of a Disney Channel vibe. I mean, it sounded more poppy, upbeat, Hannah Montana-ish music. I didn't like that.
Fair
I think that's what I read into the music. I don't know what you guys thought.
Fair enough.
I can see where you come from that, because it definitely didn't have the same feel as all the other Disney songs in there. It felt like the whole movie was staged around the songs.
It was. But we're going to talk about the music in a minute. That's the next segment. But let's wrap the plot real quick. So
I will say, how did we didn't know that because you started the review by saying you literally had no order and then we were going to be loosely goosey. You didn't actually say loosey goosey, but still.
And then immediately after that, I said, since we're going to be winging this, here's how I think we should do it, and nobody complained. So I figured we were going in that order.
Fair enough. I just figured because of the second you said that, I know Marcus mentioned yes, it'll be a fun one, and then you had your back and forth, which was cool. I just figured okay, we were going to go free. That's why I just been including shit at random places.
Which is fine. It makes it entertaining. So basically, to wrap it up, after the troll guy says, "I can't help her. It's the heart thing. Only an act of true love can save her," because Disney. So, of course, Kristoff immediately, because at the suggestion of the stupid fucking snowman, the immediate reaction is, oh, well, it must be True Love's Kiss, because this is a Disney movie. It's got to be True Love's Kiss. Kristoff's like, well, True Love is Hans, and he's back at the castle. I better get her home. So he throws her on the reindeer, and they ride off full tilt to the castle, as the ice storm of Elsa is swelling to ridiculous proportions, because, in the meantime, while that's been happening, Prince Hans, worried about his beloved Anna, has led a posse into the mountain to go find Anna, and instead they come across the Ice Palace where they have a big old battle with Elsa and the Abominable Snowman, who... Why did the Abominable Snowman have to get his foot cut off, fall off a cliff? That's not right. He wasn't really trying to hurt anybody. He was just doing his job. That's not
What
cool.
about Anna straight out Elsa trying to straight out murder the guards?
Yeah, she tried to kill the guards with ice. Yeah.
Again, one of the people we're supposed to be rooting for.
Yeah. But in all fairness, the
straight out
guards...
tried to murder.
Self-defense.
Yes, but in all...
She
Yeah,
literally targeted them.
yes, but in all fairness, the guards were trying to shoot her with crossbows first.
That's what I said. Self-defense.
Nobody
Yeah,
cares
but
what you
she
said.
kind of
Anyway.
was. She was seriously overpowered for those guards. So, like,
Yeah.
I agree with self-defense, but at this point, considering she's made an entire castle of ice, couldn't she just freeze her in spot, freeze their hand, and not kill them? Just leave them
Theoretically.
instead of the fact that it seemed like she tried to avoid kill them more. It's like no.
Well, the thing is, she
Yeah.
did disable them first. She disabled them and pinned them to the wall, which would have been fine, and then she should have thrown them out the window or something. But she disabled them first, where they weren't a threat anymore, and then decided to kill them. But if you disable them and you're not trying to kill them, why would you continue any further than that?
Yeah, the fact she continued after that means it's no longer self-defense, and it's just flat-out murdering someone.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, self-defense, the guy goes to hit me, I hit him back. If he's on the floor and I went, okay, pull out a gun and just shoot him in the head, it's flat-out murder.
Yeah. So
Unless
after
they
fighting
go
off
one
the...
line.
Yeah. So after fighting off the guards with lethal ice, they manage to overcome Elsa and knock her out, and they take her back to the castle and they lock her up.
I was going to say lethal ice. Vanilla's lesser-known brother.
Go Frozen, go Frozen, go. So they take Elsa back to the castle and lock her up in the dungeon, basically telling her, look, you're a danger and we kind of need to get you out of the way. And everybody at this point has agreed that they're going to have to kill her because otherwise the never-ending winter, the snow from which is now somewhere in the range of 12 feet high, is going to kill them all.
Well, in all fairness, though, Hans actually did ask her, like, legitimately, like, please end the winter. Like,
And
they
she's
asked
like,
her, like,
I don't
please.
know how.
Yeah. But at least, like, he asked her, you know, just please stop
Try.
doing bad things, you know? So, I
Yeah.
don't like...
I would also say with that as well, like Stacey said, he asked her, and B, the film, that's something that annoys me. The film wants us to say, no, you can't kill Elsa. No! However, when you think about it from a logical thing, if she can't end the winter, hundreds of people losing their lives, one spoiled bitch who didn't give a shit losing hers. Come on, it's not exactly a hard choice. You're a Star Trek fan, that's why we're going to be doing Star Trek year next year, but come on, needs of the many.
And also, she still was supposed to be queen, and her job as a queen would be to protect her people, and if she's hurting her
Yes.
people, this would be a way for her to do her job.
Pretty much. Also, Mo, I feel the need as a Trekkie to point out that, yes, that's true. And so if you recall correctly, Star Trek said fuck that and spent the entire next movie trying to save one dude.
Yes. However, I said the principle was right. I didn't say Star Trek itself was right. That's a fictional show.
Fair enough. Moving along.
And it also gave us Enterprise and Voyager.
In all fairness, it's in the future. We don't know if it's fictional or not. But anyway, so after this...
I was going to say, it must be in the future, because they use flip phones. They died out fucking, like, what, 5-10 years ago? Now it's all touchscreen.
That is true. So anyway, moving along, after Christoph rides Anna back to the castle, at which point he brings her inside and gives her to Hans and whatever, and he rides off with his reindeer as Hans brings Anna into what looks like a parlor, and sets her down. I should also mention, we skipped over one detail. I just want to mention Alan Tudyk is in this movie, and he does a great job as dude you think is the bad guy, but is not actually the bad guy. He's just kind of a dick.
The red herring.
Yeah, the red herring. He's basically this little annoying dude that wears black, who is known only as the Duke of Weaselton, or as he likes to call it, Wesselton. And he's the one that sent the two goons with the crossbows that tried to kill Elsa up at the Ice Palace. So, thought I'd mention that. So anyway, Hans gets Anna back inside and takes her into the parlor alone. At which point she says, "You have to kiss me each other way to break the spell." And Hans basically says, "No, I'm a dick. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to let you die. I'm going to tell everybody I married you, and then I'm going to rule your kingdom because I have 12 older brothers, and there's no way I'm ever going to rule mine."
He did also mention that in the very beginning of the movie, which I thought was weird, but it was never addressed until this moment again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I also just say, I hate that in movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cliche that died out a while back, and Disney brought it back with this. I mean, it's still in some stuff, and not as much. We don't need the villain to announce their entire plot at the exact moment it becomes convenient for the hero to know it. Let them find it out and discover it.
Yeah.
Don't narrate the entire fucking plot. No.
Pretty much.
I hate that.
So Prince Hans puts out the fire and opens the window to let the cold in and leaves Anna in there to die. And goes back out to the dining room where he tells everybody that, yeah, she just died in my arms. Luckily, we set our marriage vows first, so I'm in charge. At the same time, Kristoff has been running off, and the reindeers realize you're supposed to be, you and her are a thing. Stop being an idiot. You need to go back. Luckily, the reindeer doesn't talk, but he kind of uses his convenient body language to express this, and forces Kristoff to turn around. At the same time, Olaf the Snowman does the one thing that I thought he actually did well in the movie, and that's he consoles Anna in this room. And basically tells her, look, I don't know much about this world, but I know that, true love is somebody who will do anything for you and put you before themselves. Kind of like how Kristoff risks his life to bring you here to see Hans. At which point Anna realizes, Kristoff's the guy I'm supposed to kill. Well, shit. So
what you're saying is, right when she thought all of her world was crushing and she was now the most defeated, he basically kicked her when she was down and reminded her, yeah, but you could have had a good thing with Kristoff, but you kind of fucked it up, bitch.
Pretty much, but he does do the one kind of sweet thing where he relights the fire to warm her up and try to keep her alive a little longer, and he starts melting as Anna finally tells him, you melt in heat, right? And he finally realizes, well, there are some people worth melting for. That's a sweet Disney message.
I did like it when he started to melt. I was disappointed he didn't stay melted. I was rooting for fire.
Yeah.
I should even make a t-shirt, #TeamFire.
So Olaf, upon looking out the conveniently open window and seeing Kristoff through the snowstorm running at them, tries to take it up and help carry her out the window to get to Kristoff, while Kristoff is riding full tilt toward the castle on the reindeer as the storm swirls up because Elsa froze the chains and broke herself out. So as Elsa's trying to run away again into the snowstorm of death, it's swirling and killing, and the castle's buried, and shit's hit the fan. Nobody can see because it's a blizzard. Kristoff is running toward Anna. Anna's running toward Kristoff, and Elsa's just running to get the fuck away. When we get to a point where Kristoff is running at Anna, and Anna's stumbling through the snow and can't see, and finally she can see Kristoff coming toward her, but she also sees Elsa over here, and sees that Dick Prince Hans has run out with a sword and is about to kill her. And so she has to make the choice. I can either go closer to Kristoff and save my own life, or go this way. And she throws herself between the sword and Elsa, who is on the ground crying because Hans told her that Anna was dead, even though she's not dead yet. Anna throws herself between Hans' sword and Elsa, and the sword shatters on her body, which freezes into ice crystals, and the sword shatters.
And it's like,
plot convenience, oh my god, she's dead. But she did that out of true love for her sister. Act of true love. As Elsa is crying and hugging her, Anna thaws and is alive, and it's all good. They realize act of true love, it worked, and Kristoff's like, oh, cool, okay. So that works out. I mean, Elsa finally realizes, oh my god, love is what controls my powers. Oh, I should have known that. And she immediately stops the ice storm and sucks it all back up into the clouds and melts everything, and they rise up on a ship that they were standing on because they were standing in the middle of the frozen bay. And they rise up on this ship, and Prince Hans is there, and Anna turns around, basically tells him, I will never marry you, and punches him in the face, and he flies off the boat and lands in the ocean. And they celebrate, it's all good, and we're out of the loose ends where Hans is locked on the ship by one of his guys that was with him and says, we're going to take him back to the Southern Isles. We will see what his 12 brothers think of his actions here. And meanwhile, the Duke of Wesselton is bitching, oh, I have whiplash, I was hurt, I demand compensation. He gets tossed on his ship by a big dude who announces that, I demand to speak to the Queen. I have a notice here from the Queen. As of this date, this kingdom will seize all trade with the land of Wesselton, or of Weaselton, and throws him out. So the bad guys get their comeuppance. Anna gives Kristoff his brand new top-of-the-line wagon that she got him and announces that Queen Elsa has deemed him the royal official Iceman of the kingdom. And they decide to pursue their relationship at a more slow pace. And, of course, on the ship earlier, Elsa, who saw Olaf starting to melt once she brought the sun back out, summons a little snow cloud, his own personal flurry, to keep him alive and let him exist in summer, which he enjoys, and they all lived happily ever after.
Actually, no, because one thing is, first of all, Elsa can produce ice now. Why are people still buying it when she could just do it for free? So he shouldn't even have a job anymore. Okay. Second of all, she decides to celebrate her control of her powers by, after taking away the summer, makes the whole fucking place come back to ice anyway. And that would piss people off. Why are people okay with this? Okay, it's like at the end of, what was it, the Green Thumb Troll movie where he makes the whole, like, New York City green again or something?
A troll at Central Park.
Yeah, it's like, why are you doing this? No one wants this.
Yep.
And, like...
And I would also say, with the end of the movie, that plot twist, it was kind of cool. I know exactly what they were going for. But in doing so, and showing Elsa can produce ice, like Stacy mentioned, Kristoff becomes essentially 100% useless in this film. There's no point for him.
Yeah.
He is literally pointless, which, as I've mentioned before now in other films when it comes down to the female characters as well, that's not progressive either way. Stop doing that. Every character should be important. If a character's not important, don't include them in your movie. That's bad storytelling.
Basically.
And it's like, and also with the ending, I will also point out, why the hell did you send him off to his 12 brothers? They were raised the exact same way as him, and as most scientific and mental psychological studies will say, if one of your people is a psychopath, chances are the sibling will also be a psychopath. He has 12. At least one or two of those are going to be on his side. He's probably going to go home. They're going to say, oh, it didn't work out. He's going to be like, no. Like, okay, try again over here in this kingdom.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
They should have just executed them or kept them in their prison.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
But they didn't because Disney, so... That is the end of...
I would say no, not just because it's Disney. Disney is famous for killing villains, or have you not seen, like, Lion King and all the other films in which they kill off the villain?
That is true, that is true.
That's the one thing Disney does right, is kill off villains.
But in all fairness, they didn't kill off the villain in Tangled.
They didn't. But in all fairness, she actually had an emotional connection to the main hero because it was her mother.
Yeah, sort of.
And also, she would they cut off her power supply so she would regain her old age, and she wasn't long for this world anyway. See,
Yeah.
Disney kills a lot of people, but they never have the hero kill the villain a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They always die off screen or death or like because
Yeah.
of the circumstances or whatever.
Yeah, and it's sort of the same thing in Princess and the Frog, where he doesn't technically die, but the evil spirits from the other side that he portrayed suck him into the afterworld.
Yeah, which means it would have just been cool if, like, I don't know, at the end of the film, he runs off and it's like, no, you won't take me, no, runs away. And then, like, he's by the cliff similar to Scott and just hear, and it's the abominable snowman. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, that would have been good.
That would have killed him.
Yeah.
I was happy.
Also, can I just say, after credit scene was cute. The after credit scene
where
was the abominable snowman survived, and he's in the ice palace alone, and he said, like, oh, I'm alone now. But then he finds the tiara that Elsa conveniently threw off during that whole Let It Go sequence, and he picks it up, and he puts it on, and his spikes go away, and he smiles, he's happy, because now he's the ruler of the Ice Kingdom. That was cute.
Yeah, it's alright.
So, anyway, that is Frozen plot-wise. In terms of songs, we have a total of about 5 memorable songs. What do we got? Build a Snowman, First Time in Forever, Let It Go, Snow in Summer, and the Annoying Troll song. So, the songs themselves, if you were to just listen to the songs and strip away what they represent in the plot, they're not terrible songs. They're good songs, except for maybe that troll one. But when you put them with the plot, they don't make a whole lot of sense.
I have to say, we did this whole review and we never mentioned Idina Menzel. So, like, they got her for, like, obviously a reason, because if you haven't guessed by now, this plot is incredibly similar to Wicked, and she was the lead star in Wicked. and this whole thing about like magic and misunderstanding and whatever. It's like very similar. And I saw Idina Menzel live, and she sings a lot. I'm not gonna say better because she sung great in this. It was just the song was stupid, but it wasn't her singing that was bad. But like I just felt like this was kind of a waste for her, a waste of her talent.
Yeah.
She could have been doing so much better things.
Pretty much, yeah. They wrote the thing about this movie. Little backstory on the movie. They've been trying to make this movie since like the 1930s. Like they've spent like the last 75 years to make that movie, or something at upon Christian Andersen's Snow Queen story that it's based upon. And then it kept getting canceled and shelved and put back because they couldn't make the Snow Queen character work. And somebody finally had the idea to make her sympathetic and work that in. But it wasn't until the song "Let It Go" was written by, I don't have my Wikipedia page up here, by the folks who wrote the song "Let It Go," that transformed the entire movie. Because that was the point where they decided, oh, the Snow Queen character should be sympathetic. She's not going to be the outright evil villain of the movie. We'll make her sympathetic, and that changed the entire dynamic of the movie, and that's what made it what it was. And because of how the song sounded, and because of how the song sounded, they said, oh, well, why don't we get Idina Menzel, because they were fans of Wicked, and when they put her in there, they said, well, we could build this a little more like the fit Idina, and they kind of built it a little like Wicked.
Yeah, like I said, that was the one song I remember from the film. I don't really remember the other ones, because, well, they weren't that good. However, that was the one song I hated because it made her not sympathetic. That made her a complete bitch when they placed that in the movie.
Actually,
so it didn't make her sympathetic.
Actually, if you like a perspective from someone who hasn't seen the movie, it actually kind of makes sense. Everything does, including your supposed plot hole with the ice castle, because she makes that ice castle during Let It Go. Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Because from what I'm hearing, the song, it sounds like it's more like her letting go of the fear. Her saying the cold never bothered me anyway. It's her embracing her powers and letting go of that fear, and basically her saying, "Fuck it, it's part of me. I love the powers. The cold never bothered me anyway. I've always been okay with the powers. I'm just going to embrace it. I'm going to love it." And as you pointed out in the movie, it's outright stated, love is what controls her powers. If at that point in time she loves herself, she would have 100% control over her powers. So to me, it sounds like the song was written and sung from a standpoint of let go of the fear, let go of what other people are saying about you and your powers, and just love you for yourself and everything that comes with it.
Even though the thing you're loving almost killed your sister and a bunch of random people in your kingdom.
Yeah, well, that's what I was on about. The placement of it right after the event kind of makes it really selfish, singing, the cold never bothered me anyway, and singing about them. It's like, no, you almost murdered those people. And the plot hole of the thing still measures up with the whole ice castle and creating life. She should never have created life.
Create life, yes.
And it's
I
just
can
really
agree with that. But the castle, I think, makes sense if you look at it from that standpoint of, okay, she's using her powers now out of love for herself, so therefore she would have control over it.
But she doesn't love
really
herself because she
irresponsible.
builds the ice castle to hide away from the world because she's ashamed of herself because she can't try to kill her sister and everyone around her.
Yeah.
No, it's just what.
It's also really bad timing when you leave this, when you put the kingdom in chaos, and it's just really irresponsible, and you can't just let it go when you have responsibilities, and you're a ruler, and you're going to let thousands of people die because you're pissed, and you don't like people anymore.
Well, in all fairness to Elsa on that one, she didn't know she cast the world into eternal winter until Anna got there and told her. She thought that, the kingdom's going to be better off without me. Let Anna be the queen. She's the better sister. Let her rule the kingdom. I'll just hang out up here by myself in the mountains with my snow people, and I'll just be alone, and that way I don't have a risk of potentially killing her or anyone else. That was her theory. It wasn't until Anna got there and said, oh, by the way, you doomed us all to death in eternal winter. And she's like, oh, God, no, what have I done?
Yeah, but she did also know that she'd used her powers to injure and endanger people because she'd done that when she was on the stairs and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was just poor placement. That was poor placement with that song. That's the only reason I remember it, is because it annoyed me so much with the placement.
And also with
Otherwise,
such a public,
I wouldn't even remember that song.
with such a public display of her powers in the town square, I think it would be kind of silly to not think there would be repercussions, at least a little bit, from a nearby mountain, that people wouldn't come after you because you clearly showed everyone you have your powers.
Yeah, especially considering she's meant to be the queen, so all the people she invited there would have been the basically top dogs of the town, basically. The movers and shakers, the important people, and they're the ones you try to endanger.
Yeah. Also, can I mention something that bothered me is, okay, I understand it's Disney and they weren't concerned about this, but why was there not at least some indication as to why she has ice powers in the first place? Because they didn't explain why she has it, why Anna doesn't, and where that shit came from. That kind of bothered me.
Like you said, it's magic. They don't have to explain it.
It comes in the same place to where her dress magically appears.
Yeah. There's
Out
too
of
many
ice powers.
things. There's too many things that they need to explain in that film.
Yeah.
Although, given that it's modern Disney, there's one really easy explanation they could do.
They were lazy?
They could just have Professor X show up at the castle.
There you go.
It's in the past. But yeah, like I said, yeah.
Okay, have Exodus show up at the castle.
Yeah, like I said, it's just weird that you can't explain that power. It's like, at least tell us why she's meant to be chosen above her sister, at least, because genetics. At least someone in her family would have got her.
Because she's older. Isn't that how like that kind of stuff usually works? It's usually the eldest child that becomes the ruler.
No, the powers, not the
the
rulership.
powers. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I understood how the
explained.
rulership works.
Go read Professor Xavier's book on mutants. Sometimes it skips a generation. Sometimes, only certain members of the family get the powers. Like,
yeah, but
like
it's
in
not
the
said.
episode, Iceman is the one that got the powers. His brother didn't get any powers.
Yeah, but like
it's not a mutation. They never tell us it's a mutation. They just don't tell us anything.
It's like a mutation.
Yeah.
and all the people from all the other nations came over here to and watch Elsa become queen, and all of them thought the ice powers were strange, and they've only heard of it in fairy tales, which means to believe there aren't other very vibrant and showy offy powers people in other nations. So why was Elsa out of all these other nations the one who had the powers?
Yeah, why was she the Neo?
Elsa, the last waterbender.
I'd call her more of a plot bender.
That's certainly true.
It's hard to tell if Jim can still hear us.
Jim?
It's hard to tell.
I assume he muted when his phone rang, so I'm assuming
You
he's
probably
probably
muted.
I thought it unmuted. Sorry. Okay. So that was Frozen. I will just say, despite all the stuff we've talked about, it's got some issues. There's some plot holes. There's some problems. I think that they had this amazing song in Let It Go, and they basically built a movie around the song, which didn't totally work. So from what I've read, they had the song, and they had the ending of, the true love is going to be sisterly love and not love. Oh, twist. But
Jim?
other than that, they kind of... What?
Despite what we talked about, there are issues. What the hell review were you part of?
No, I said despite the issues we talked about.
Well, what did
You said
say?
despite the issue. You said
Yeah, you
despite
said
the
despite
issues.
the issues.
Yeah,
Despite
I said
the
despite...
issues, this does have problems. I'm like, oh no, what we talked about, like Mark
I didn't.
said.
No, I heard despite what we talked about, this movie has issues. I'm like,
No.
that's what we talked about.
That's
That's
what
what
me
we
and
talked
Stacey
about.
heard too.
Yeah.
You need to listen to the inflection in my voice, dipshits. I said, despite the problems of this movie, and it does have problems, I was continuing that sentiment, that it does have issues, we talked about some plot holes and things.
It was
But
the part where you said, despite what we talked about, this does have problems. That's what all three of us heard.
Yeah.
I understand. I understand what you heard, but you just misheard the inflection. It is what I said, but you misheard the inflection.
Dude, inflection
Yeah.
doesn't change what you said.
Yes, it does, because what I said was, despite the fact that this has problems, and it does have problems, and then I was going into the problems for a minute, and I was going to go off of
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
I know. We went about the wording of despite what we talked about, which implies what we talked about wasn't to do with the next words, which was this film has problems.
No, I was continuing with the despite part, and then I was going into the next words if you would not
Yeah.
tell me to fuck off and wasted all our goddamn time.
Okay, Jim, just continue. Continue. Just forget it. Just keep going. Okay, you liked it, even had problems, and go from there. Okay, your face palming yourself saves me from doing it again, so there you go. And
Shut up. So as I was saying, basically, despite the fact that this had problems, and it did have problems, there were some issues with it we talked about. You know, some plot holes, there were some things that didn't make sense, some things that seemed thrown in out of nowhere. And the fact that, you know, we know that they built this movie off of the Let It Go and that ending that they knew about. We know that they kind of threw this together. And that, considering it took them 75 years to make it, it wasn't going to be perfect. Despite all of that, I really like this movie. I enjoyed it. It's the first movie that has, to me, felt like a truly full-on Disney movie in a very long time. Tangled and Princess and the Frog both had some of that feel. They both were definitely Disney movies, but they weren't quite at that point that they give you that full-on, warm, cuddly Disney feel. This one really did that. I feel like the Disney magic was in it. Even if the movie wasn't good, the magic was there. And I felt that was important. That's what really kind of made this movie so successful. It's not that it was a good movie or that the songs were even perfect. It's that it brought that magical Disney feel to people that they hadn't felt in a very long time. Parents alike, kids who might be feeling it for the first time, depending on if they've seen some earlier movies. And I think that's what really made this a huge success. I like the movie. I sing along with the stupid songs. I thought it was great to watch. I enjoyed it. You know, I would recommend it as long as you turn your mind off and just enjoy it as a silly animated movie with some silly but some good music in it. I would say if you can turn your brain off, enjoy the movie. It's one of those silly Disney movies that, yeah, it's got problems in it. All Disney movies have plot holes and problems. You could dissect any of them. I thought it was good. What do you guys? Well, before I do that, overall rating, I would probably, with the plot holes and everything going into this movie, I would say 7.5, maybe an 8. What do you guys think?
First, I wanted to say that I was gonna say that Jim can watch this movie with keeping his brain on default.
Ah.
But yeah, so I'll say for a rating on this movie, Tangled was so much better. So my personal opinion, Tangled was a lot better. And if you that was like, yeah, if you really want that Disney feel, boom, Tangled is where it's at. This one was kind of flopsy all over, really just mix match of things put together. Two annoying characters. Oh, the reindeer wasn't as annoying, but Kristoff was useless. It had an interesting opening. That's probably the best thing I could say about it.
Oh, that's what I forgot at the beginning. The fucking Pointless Ice song. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, whatever. So it's there, and that's like the only interesting part of the movie. After that, I was like, whatever. But like, yeah. So this one is kind of like, I want to say 5.5, 6, like in that range. It's like if you have like a 5-year-old kid who's like all like victorious Justin Bieber, maybe they'll like this. I don't know, maybe its colors on the TV shiny. So there you go.
Oh, and we forgot Life is an Open Door, that song she sings with the Prince. I forgot that one too. So there's actually 7 songs in this movie. My apologies.
Okay. So there you go. That's me.
So what is your rating?
Oh, I
She
said it was
gave
a
her
5,
rating.
like 5 to 6, I guess. It's good
Okay.
for like little kids if you just want to put something on. You don't care what they watch, if it's high or low quality.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Mo, what do you think?
I will say I will use exactly the same wording Jim used of you need to turn your brain off to watch this film, which means this film is really stupid. If you have to turn your brain off, it means it's stupid as fuck. But yeah, I will say the plot holes, the songs were too poppy for me. It looked good though, and stuff like that. And I'll just say it's overrated as fuck. When people say, "Oh, great Disney movie in like 10 years," come on, Toy Story 3, Tangled, Wreck-It Ralph, Winnie the Pooh, all of which better than this piece of crap. However,
Yeah.
it's not the worst movie Disney's ever produced. I'm not going to say it's that bad. Most of it's overhypeness. However, it does have loads of plot holes. Characters did need to be there. I don't know. They wrote, like Jim said, it sounds like they wrote the film around one song, which worked for Mamma Mia. It doesn't work for this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably gonna give it about a 4.
It didn't really work for Mamma Mia. It worked for the play, the movie not so much.
No,
Yeah, I
the
was
movie
gonna
was
say,
terrible.
and I didn't
will
even
admit
like the
I've
play
owned-
Mamma Mia.
I will say I've only seen the movie Mamma Mia, and as far as silly little chick flick movies go, it's not terrible.
It's
It was
It's up
okay.
there with it's up there with most of the Meg Ryan ones.
Pretty much. The problem with that movie, there were two big problems with that movie. Number one,
This
they
is
cut
a
out.
Mamma Mia review.
I know, I'm just saying. Number one, they cut out several songs, one of which was my favorite song, and number two, they let Pierce Brosnan sing, which is never a good idea. So,
yeah.
I
No, they let
will say,
Brosnan try to sing.
yeah.
yeah, but I will say I was talking about it as a film, and I mentioned I hadn't seen the play. I didn't feel stuff was missing.
Fair enough. I'm just saying, in my opinion.
But yeah,
But anyway.
for this, it's overhyped as fuck. Don't buy into the hype, and you may find something you enjoy. There is some stuff, like I said, it looks good. It really does look good. But you may enjoy it.
Fair enough. What's your rating?
Like I said, I gave it a 4.
4. Okay. And Marcus, from your outsider perspective, just hearing what we've said, what do you think? Any final thoughts?
You think you might watch it?
I might. I don't know, like I said, as a song, I really do like Let It Go. It's one of those songs that gets stuck in your head, and when it's sung by the right person, it's actually a really beautiful and really good song. Sorry, Idina Menzel, you're not the right person, at least live. You sing it way too fast. Although, see, it's kind of hard because she sings it too fast, in my opinion. But
Marcus.
what?
We can't understand a word you're saying. Your headset is all fucked up.
Oh, not much I can do about that.
But anyway, the problem when she's saying it live is that, number one, she was singing with a band that was not live with her. The band was somewhere else via satellite. So they couldn't keep pace with each other at all. So she started going faster, and the band, she was trying to match it with the band, and it didn't work, and that got all fucked up. Plus the fact that Travolta mangled her name into something I can't even understand probably made her nervous and confused. So
Fair enough. Can you
Also, if you're
understand
talking
me
about
now?
if you're talking about the
Well, you
live
can-
performance, I say, the point is,
They were, and I said they were, and I was
One
saying
person at a time.
Marcus.
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, you're saying, Stacey?
oh, I was also, so she could be extra nervous because she accidentally let her like boob almost pop out of her shirt and stuff like earlier that day, or evening during the performance, and a fan had to point it out to her. So I'm saying that could really mess her up and make her really extra nervous for stuff.
Yeah. So back to
But, yeah, it's almost,
back
as I
over
was
to Marcus.
saying, yeah, I really do like the song. Like I said, the one thing that she does bring that I like that kind of makes the song is the fact that very few people, and I have heard a few people on YouTube who could do this, but very few people can belt like she can. And this song kind of needs that belt. But I do like the song. The movie sounds like there's a lot of plot holes. I don't know. I'd have to actually see the movie to have a more educated opinion about it. But, it sounds like a movie that is, that kids would like, and that maybe super die-hard, hardcore Disney fans might like. But, yeah, turn the brain off.
They're
Fair
probably
enough.
paid to the Disney Channel or something.
We'll just say,
Yeah.
can we just talk about how overhyped it is for a second, since we talked about the music and stuff?
Sure, go ahead.
Why the fuck is this film in Disney Infinity the first one, and there's no Lion King?
Yeah.
And that was before the film even came out. Why the hell is Elsa and stuff now going to appear in Once Upon a Time?
Also, it's on Pandora on like a million times, like every hour.
Because what worked with Once Upon a Time was it was all these like fairy tale-ish characters. Yeah, they worked in like Wonderland and Neverland stuff. They were really old tales. Now they're working in this, which was in the last year or two. Literally, the film came out before the spell was cast and these worlds were created within its own world.
Yeah.
Ah, mine.
Yeah. And also for for pretty much everybody here, I think we've all at least part of the franchise. Let's all be adequately prepared, because I'd say there's about a 98% chance of there being a Frozen world in Kingdom Hearts 3. So let's all just be prepared for that.
Oh my god.
If it plays well, it could be good. I mean, I'll be honest. I was not a fan of the Little Mermaid film, the levels in Kingdom Hearts 1 for Little Mermaid did kind of suck. We're going to let me do a Kingdom Hearts review, but I did like playing through it on the other one, that Rechain of Memories.
Yes, or you could just go watch near the end of Stacy's Kingdom Hearts Let's Play. Oh wait, I'm sorry. So anyway, that was Frozen. You've got our opinions. If you see it, let us know what you think in the comments down below there. We'll talk about it. And let's all just be prepared because with that,
chill.
Exactly. And let's just all be prepared because with the ratings it got and the amount of money it made, there's goddamn well going to be a sequel. You know what? I know what the people know it. So let's just be prepared for that shit.
And please, let's pray it's as good as those sequels like, I don't know, Little Mermaid, Ariel's Beginning, and stuff like that. Let's hope it's written by those people, just so this franchise can die. I'm sorry, it's over.
We shall see.
Although to the overhyped people, I've seen people claim it's the greatest film of all time, and it's the greatest Disney film of all time, and then when you check under their things, they've never actually watched it. They're just going with the hype, and oh yeah, we saw some people sing a song on YouTube, suddenly it's the best, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
That's not how movies work.
Nope. Alrighty. Well, thank all three of you for joining me. This has been a good thing to look out for this here musical summer of Disney. Indeed. So hopefully all of you can join me again for something in the future. Specifically, keep an eye out for Marcus Shadow joining me for a look at the top 20 deleted Disney songs of all time, the songs that didn't make the cut. I'm James Phoenix, and we'll see you next time.
Is that the video you were hyping last year?
Yes. Yes, it is. We're still hyping. Fair enough. I'm James Phoenix. We'll see you next time in the lair of the Phoenix for the summer of Disney.